Albert Einstein's life was marked by his ability to answer many of science's greatest mysteries. Paradoxically, his dying words left us with questions that will never be answered. In 1948, the great physicist underwent surgery to reinforce an abdominal aortic aneurysm. On April 17, 1955, he checked into Princeton Hospital, New Jersey after experiencing discomfort. Doctors concluded that the aneurysm was bleeding, and they advised him to have immediate surgery. Einstein refused the surgery, saying, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share, it is time to go. I will do it elegantly." The next morning the aneurysm burst. Einstein sensed that his death was at hand and spoke his final words. The sole witness to his dying words was the nurse who was at his bedside. While we'll never know the last words Einstein spoke, we do know the very last words that he wrote. At the time of his death, the Princeton professor was working on a speech to deliver during a dinner in New York City marking the anniversary of the State of Israel. The unfinished pages, which were found at his bedside and are now held at the Albert Einstein Archives at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, were intended to address the need for world peace. Albert Einstein's last spoken words were in German, but the nurse attending to him at that time only spoke English. He was, however, working on a speech he was to give a few days later celebrating the anniversary of the State of Israel. It ends with an incomplete sentence. In essence, the conflict that exists today is no more than an old-style struggle for power, once again presented to mankind in semi-religious trappings. The difference is that, this time, the development of atomic power has imbued the struggle with a ghostly character, for both parties know and admit that, should the quarrel deteriorate into actual war, mankind is doomed. Despite this knowledge, statesmen in responsible positions on both sides continue to employ the well-known technique of seeking to intimidate and demoralize the opponent by marshalling superior military strength. They do so even though such a policy entails the risk of war and doom. Not one statesman in a position of responsibility has dared to pursue the only course that holds out any promise of peace, the course of supranational security, since for a statesman to follow such a course would be tantamount to political suicide. Political passions, once they have been fanned into flame, exact their victims. Citator Fra. At 1:15 a.m. on the morning of April 18, 1955, Albert Einstein passed away in Princeton, NJ, from a ruptured aneurysm. The great theoretical physicist, aged 76, reportedly muttered a few sentences after midnight in German, but as his nurse only spoke English, the meaning was lost. During Einstein's post-mortem, the pathologist stole his brain. Fragments of it are now on display at a museum in Philadelphia.